So, so this past weekend, I went to a fantastic little gem of a festival located in tiny Chillicothe, Ohio, called the Feast of the Flowering Moon. And it was one of those it was one of those moments when the universe aligned, and there was perfect timing, I swear, because I found out about it in the last 3 hours. So I got to go for the end of the festival and kind of like the ending ceremonies. But this is a festival where Native Americans from different tribal areas of the United States came to just talk about their cultures and their crafts. There was a hoop dancer, like a world famous hoop dancer, that came all the way from Oklahoma to participate in some of the dancing. So it was very cool. I ate fried bread and some Native American cuisine, which was really yummy. And I got a legitimate dream catcher. Check this out. It's a crescent moon. And so while I love the colorful, pretty trendy dream catchers that you always see, this is a legitimate one, meaning that a person from the culture created it, put it together. He actually put it together like 20 minutes before I stopped by. And what makes this more traditional and in my eyes legitimate is that it's made from all natural materials. So like the modern, like the one I have hanging in my car, for example, I got at the dollar store and is made of like, thread and pretty colors and fancy beads. But this is all natural. So he was telling me how these feathers are grouse feathers that he got when he was in Colorado, elk hunting. And these beads are made from animal bone. And the thread is made from some kind of animal muscle or something. So yes, but when dream catchers originated, it's not like there was a Costco or a Dollar Tree to go get, or the craft stores to go get all of this. And the a big part of the symbolism in dream catchers and in the Native American culture is an emphasis on nature and kind of celebrating Mother Earth. So I was just so excited to find this. And side note, I have nightly nightmares. And the past 2 nights I haven't. So I don't know if it's a psychological thing or if this is legit, but I'm going to believe that it's legit. But I've had it hanging in my bedroom. So I love dream catchers so much. And I have made them in therapy with teenagers, with younger kids, when we've talked about sleep disorders or nightmares. I've worked a lot with little kids who have trauma, and one of the symptoms of that trauma response will be nightmares. So I've made dream catchers with them in session, and it's also been a really good opportunity to kind of teach some of the cultural background behind it as well. I could talk for much longer than anyone but me would be interested in hearing about the myths behind dream catchers and kind of how they originated. But so I will not do that. But I would like to show you a child appropriate intervention that I like to use with children who have, some sort of trauma, and maybe it's not so much centered on nightmares, but that's just one piece of it. But that is a good kind of like indirect way of processing all of the trauma that goes with it. Or I've used this with children who have insomnia or anxiety at bedtime. So I will show this. Okay, are you able to see that?
Yes.
So you can make dream catchers in so many different ways. They have kits that you can buy with the rings and all of the pieces, and you can put together, it comes with instructions. You could do something a little more traditional where you go into nature and you find all of the pieces. Now, I like the animal bone beads and this thread stuff made from animal parts. Yeah, I'm not sure how you would, the layperson would be able to put that together. But I think adding the nature-based element would be a lot of fun. But this is just a simple worksheet that I found on Crayola's website. It's a little blurry on the screen, but I will put a link in that'll take you to where you can download the worksheet. It gives some of the background on dream catchers and how they were created to help prevent bad dreams. So the idea was that they would catch in the web, they would catch all of the bad dreams and only let the good ones in. In addition to the bad dreams, it was also like just like evil or negativity. It would catch it all up. Infants were provided with dream catchers. It was kind of considered their first line of defense. And all of the different parts of the dream catcher symbolize different things. I have kind of adapted this for this intervention. So the materials that I use to symbolize different things are obviously kind of derived from the original meaning of dream catchers, but it's not completely the same. Okay, so with this, you would print out the worksheet. You could kind of give a little background on dream catchers, what they're used for. They are protection, they keep you safe. You could pair this with like a safe space exercise or positive imagery to just kind of like redefine their bedroom, help them feel a little bit more relaxed before bedtime. You'll color the page or decorate all of the pieces however you'd like, and then cut out each of the shapes. And then you can see where you can either hole punch or cut out the little holes in each of the different pictures so that you can eventually put it together. You can use yarn or string if you don't happen to have like animal parts to make thread out of. And in creating the dream catcher, you can work with the child either to just talk through it or even write in some of the ideas that they have on, like, for example, in their web, that's to catch the evil, to catch the nightmares, to catch the fears, whatever that negativity may be. So when I work with kids, I have them, or I will write for them, depending on their age, some of the maybe scary things that have happened in the past or fears that they have, will write in the web to simulate kind of getting caught in that dream catcher. Then the feathers in my intervention are symbolic of breath. And I came up with that because the wind, breeze moves feathers. So I use that as an opportunity to teach deep breathing and relaxation strategies. And we talk about how the breathing skills will help strengthen the dream catcher because we can cope with whatever those fears are. And then you can, so on this dream catcher, there are shells. And while that's not necessarily, like, there are no shells on my dream catcher that I just showed you, But with this particular picture, I like to use the shells to represent strong supports, because I imagine that like all of us have that memory where we put the shell to our ear and listened and we could hear the ocean. So for me, it kind of represents how your support system may not be directly with you all of the time, but you can reach out. So having these shells can remind you of the supportive people in your life that can help you cope with some of these fears. So on the shells, we might list some safe people, friends, family, trusted adults that the child can lean on for extra coping to help catch some of those fears. And then the little round egg looking things on this paper, I identify as, I think they're supposed to be beads, but I identify them as stones or small rocks, because I often use rocks as a grounding tool. And so we'll talk about things that kind of ground us in the moment, maybe mantras like I am safe, I will be okay, I will sleep well, or it could be more mindfulness, like 5 things I see could be on one, 4 things I hear. But we would put some sort of grounding mindfulness skill on each of these little stone beads. And then once you have it all together, you, in the center here, you have this focus on all of the scary things that may be associated with trauma and may be causing nightmares, or all of the things that are keeping you awake at night. And our reflex is often to completely avoid that and not think of it. But what usually happens is it comes back even stronger. So it kind of pulls from that like acceptance and commitment therapy approach, where rather than avoiding it, we're actually paying attention to it. Here are my fears, but you have it constructed in a way to where you're like, okay, here are my fears, but they're caught, and here are all my things that are keeping them from reaching me. Here are my safe people in the shells. Here are the grounding mindfulness things I can do for myself in the stone beads. Here are all my relaxation strategies and the feathers. And they're kind of surrounding these fears to where it takes away the power of the negativity, which relates back to original dream catchers. They kind of filtered out the bad stuff and let the good in. So that's kind of my little spiel on just an easy peasy dream catcher activity. Again, you can, with older kids and teenagers, I would suggest getting a kit or just getting the supplies and kind of learning to make your own out of yarn and beads and real feathers. But for little kids, it's much easier to just color them, use thick yarn, and then cut it out and put it together.
I agree. I think that dream catchers are just a great way. And then, we deal with lots of kids that struggle with sleeping, whether it's, just bad dreams in general, whether it's trauma, whether it's, a lot of kids are just exposed to really scary materials throughout the day that then influence the night. And there's lots of great resources, but dream catchers are something tangible that they can see and feel that level of safety and level of autonomy and control in the situation.
Yeah, definitely. And it just pulls in so many opportunities for other skills that can be taught. We can talk about the relaxation. We can talk about your support system. We can create a safe space in your bedroom. And the tangible piece, we're taking concepts that are, a bit abstract for younger kids, and we're putting it into something that they can actually see and understand. And even though I truly believe that these are legit sources of dream protection, if if you have a yarn paper dream catcher hanging in your window and it's really not catching all of the bad things, it provides a sense of safety, which we know a felt sense of safety is like the number one starting point for being able to relax a bit enough to go to sleep, be vulnerable, or start to heal from some of that trauma.
Agreed.